Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Slice of Heaven. Today we have Zerian Daenerys, Virality Tech Support Lead. Right? Yeah, I didn't get that title wrong. Don't crucify me.
You got it wrong, I swear. No, you got it right.
No? Okay. And also VRC World creator. So twice as many titles as me. I have like one, just carpet. But yeah, also Heartwood's here, but you know Heartwood's here.
Well, why don't you give us a rundown of what you do or what you have done? That would be cool. I want to know. I'm curious.
I mean, honestly, like back, heck, when I originally met Vix and stuff like that, I actually ended up making them like a random world and stuff. That was like 2021 or something like that. Now it's ancient. I've tried pulling it up, and the project is like totally borked beyond all belief.
Yeah, it's it's one of these, like one of your first worlds, right?
It's like number 2, literally. But like I like randomly started making stuff for people about 3-ish, almost 4-ish years ago now, and I've done everything from prop design to hard surface modeling for assets to setting up rigging, visemes, all that kind of stuff on like avatars. I've dipped into making clothing, making random assets, but the biggest niche that I seem to sit there and always tend to have is VRChat worlds. And for me, I'm one of the weird ones who essentially does not ever use prefabs. I am bullheaded beyond all belief. I will not touch the Unity store unless I absolutely have to. But that's more because of a belief that I find that VRChat worlds nowadays are too inundated with the same exact assets over and over and over and over again. And it's nice to see something fresh and new.
Someone needs to get on the phone with these people who are, I don't know what YouTube search prefab this is, but whatever like this new one is, sucks. It's so bad. I hate it. It'll give you shorts and it'll give you videos from like 10 years ago. It's such a it's so bad, and so many worlds are using it. I hate it so much. It's not good.
Wait, which one is this? Are you just talking about a random one, or are you like actually?
Everywhere.
It's a specific like YouTube search prefab. There's some that are good, and there's this other one that is really bad, and it hasn't changed, or I don't know what's wrong with it. If I'm using it wrong, but I always test it by typing in memes. It gives me a short that's 3 seconds long from like 7 years ago, and I don't.
Oh my
It is
goodness.
really bad. It is actually
like, it's
bad.
so bad.
And it's everywhere now too. Everybody's replacing their video players with it, and I'm just kind of like, why? Like, please be a little more.
Yeah, sorry to
about
go on
it.
a tangent, but that speaking of like,
I like
optimized worlds, are you excited for like the amount of people you can get in one world? Like Virality tested it at Umbra with like 200 people in a world, and it wasn't too bad. I think like some people's computers like obviously couldn't handle it, but it was for the most part a stable like experience with 200 people all shown.
Well, so I gotta talk about that on 2 different levels, because I will admit I did not actually attend that lobby. I was actually busy that night. I wasn't able to sit there and go and join it, and you know, stuff happens. The fact that we were able to squeeze that many people into worlds, to me, was cool. But I stemmed that off because, like, admittedly, I was totally far and away from that situation that happened within Virality, so I don't know too much about it. But the thing that I still have to sit there and bounce off of with that is the way that we actually sit there and make that a possibility is we have to focus on making tools to make avatars better. Like, I mean, if everybody in the lobby is all in very, very poor avatars, which, like, I'm guilty. This avatar is horrible. I hate this avatar. Like, very poor avatars are legitimately the reason why we have situations where we can't increase a lobby limit. Because we sit there, and most average graphics cards are only 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and there are literally some avatars that I have seen that literally take up 500 megabytes of texture memory, and that's really bad. That's extremely bad. I don't know how to fix it. I'm not like an aficionado in that nature. I know how to optimize worlds, but not avatars. But I personally think it would be better for tools to be made that help avatars be better. Like Polytool. Polytool is a good example. But to some degree, like Polytool it's a band-aid. It's a patch. It's meant to make it like quick and easy to like questify your avatar. It isn't really necessarily designed to sit there and make your avatar like optimized in a way that is functional per se.
But it's tough because you have to balance the texture memory and people want to have nicer looking avatars. Certain aspects don't look good if they're low res, but some parts look better. Some people throw 4 or 8K resolutions on their texture maps for like no reason at all, and it's like me, I'm white. I don't need like 8K resolution on this. But it's tough. It's tough because we all want to have nice looking avatars that we all feel comfortable in and whatnot, and it's hard to really always optimize it to be hyper considerate of everybody else's hardware. I'm a streamer, so I kind of just take I'm sorry, I gotta have an avatar for all those silly shenanigans I have to do on stream. But it is interesting circling back to the original I talked was about how VRChat's now doing or starting to explore huge hyper worlds with massive population limits.
That's gonna be insane.
Again,
for raids, that's gonna be so good. It's gonna be.
Think about the real application. The real application isn't just for parties and raids. It's for events. They are bringing in the event industry. They want to bring in corporate America and corporate companies all over the world to come in and start doing big meetings, events, and plans. Look at VCAT. VCAT has all kinds of actual real-life business sponsors coming in and actual business meetings and business expos and trade shows. The expo trade show industry is massive. So I think it's a great.
Are you ready for the VRChat X McDonald's crossover?
Oh no!
It's gonna happen. I hate to tell you, it's gonna happen.
I'm loving it.
You're gonna join a world, and there's gonna be a quarter pounder with cheese right in front of you.
No, you're just gonna have half your screen get taken up by advertisements. That's what's gonna happen.
It's gonna be IOI's like vision of the Oasis from Ready Player One.
Yes.
We can take up 98% of a user's screen before inducing seizures.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
It's surprising too because we've been seeing like VRChat tweet that they're hitting daily concurrent user limits like that they normally would only hit on like New Year's Eve, for example. They're hitting that in the middle of August and September, like not normal like holiday, New Year's Eve kind of like record numbers. They're hitting that in the middle of the year, and it's kind of scary that like that's actually starting to happen where we're getting to the point where there's so much data and so much server bandwidth and so much creativity and unpack like because when I go into that lobby, I was at my spouse's party rave event. It was an 80-person world. We already maxed out that world for all the DJs, and it takes a little bit to like download and literally unpack and show every single avatar, even with a gigabit internet speed, and I'm still took a little bit to get everybody downloaded. So I think we're gonna see some really neat stuff because it's not like at least you preload the world before, or you load the world as you're like logging in, so you have the world ready to go when you finally initialize and connect. Then it's
honestly,
everybody else.
I think it's gonna be sooner than we think it is because technology is advancing at a very scary rate, like an incomprehensible rate. I
mean, just give me nerve gear, and I'm like I'm done. I want to just Sword Art Online my ass.
Do you remember just like the original Oculus Rift? How it was just like just a screen in like a it's
in a box.
That was only like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I had a CV1.
And now we have full body eye tracking, face tracking. It's really scary.
Yeah, VR has gone a long way.
I believe like even Gabe Newell hinted that like they already have a version of full dive technology ready to go. They just don't know when to pull the plug-ins or put the pin on and say, okay, this is when we go to production. Because every time they're ready to go to production with some sort of technology, it's already light years ahead, only a few months or a year later. They don't know when to actually say, okay, here's the time we're going to actually produce a product and put it on the shelves, and is it going to be outdated the moment it's out of the factory? You know, so it is scary how fast technology is going. I never in a million years thought I would see this kind of stuff.
I watched the pipeline happen to you in real time. I remember when you were a VRChat baby.
I was a VRChat baby, and Ace, if you remember Ace, he sat there and he gave me like
Ace sometimes.
Yeah, he gave me like 3 weeks before I'd get full body, and I already had full body at like 2. Provided it was Xbox Connect, but you know.
Oh, trust me,
yes.
I know so many people who did the Xbox Connect thing because it was way more affordable.
Me.
Exactly.
There were so many.
And
I was
the
a dummy.
Next 3 months, I had an index.
Let's go. I mean, that's kind of what happened with a lot of people. I had full body tracking before I even had my index. I didn't even have a headset, and I had already ordered full body tracking. From desktop mode to full body tracking and index immediately. My spouse, I dragged them into VR for Ferality Silva. Or not Silva, it was Luma. I dragged them in for Luma, and they were like, I'm not really into VR. They come into Luma, they have such a good time, they're like, I want an index.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, all right, here's my wallet, honey.
Kidnapping.
Immediately buy them an index, so that was like the third index.
Show them
I
the
had to buy.
highs and they'll never see the lows.
Immediate bad financial decisions. Very, very bad financial decisions. The most expensive DLC you could ever get in real life is VRChat.
What's your favorite thing about VR right now? That's a good question.
So, the thing that I like most, the thing that I actually like most about VR, and it's actually not even so much just on the VRChat level of things, because yeah, like I enjoy VRChat. I think a lot of people can sit there and say that. I actually like the fact that we're actually stemming out into using VR as more of a it's being used more as a way to introduce people who can't actually sit there and physically see something in person or experience something in person, that they can utilize a VR headset to be able to experience it for themselves. Look at the number, actually, and even stemming into that, just accessibility in general. Look at the people that use Google Earth VR to be able to sit there and go and see places they've never been to. Look at the number of people that use VRChat who are actually mute or blind or anything like that, that legitimately use VRChat as a way of socializing, or people with that use ASL can actually communicate with people still. Or even people who are in wheelchairs. I have a friend of mine who's actually in a wheelchair, and they play VRChat all the time because they are literally able to sit there and actually get out of their house and not be bound to a wheelchair. And it's impressive to me as well that it's being used for actual practical purposes. We're even utilizing VR as medical, in like the medical field, to be able to perform virtual surgeries, in essence, to be able to train our doctors to do certain procedures. It's really impressive that the technology has advanced so far that we are actually dipping into these fields that are like you would never assume a technology like VR would ever be used in. Augmented reality, as it would generally be assumed to be, is a rapidly evolving technology, and I would much prefer that we focus on that than focusing on something like AI technology.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But,
medical field is having a field day, like flight simulators, military stuff. The enterprise VR is always going to be mechanics, absolutely, engineers. The enterprise VR is always going to be really, really important. And as we continue to normalize it, it's going to just keep expanding. But what keeps the market alive right now is definitely consumer-based, entertainment. Because we've already seen a massive decline on VR video games lately. They're just kind of slowing down. They're not being as popular, but it's the VRChat user base that's like pumping up the market and holding us up.
Still growing.
Well,
mostly in part to that. I think Valve has set such a high standard of what a VR game could be with Half-Life Alyx. No game has tried to be another Half-Life Alyx. Like, that's just, I don't even see that as a VR game. That's just a really good game. Like, you don't even... for like a lot of games feel like tech demos. I'm sorry, I keep talking over you, but
No, you're fine, honey. You're fine. You gotta talk to.
you can create an entirely different experience with VR, and that's what Half-Life Alyx did. Half-Life Alyx had you like crouching, like actually looking around corners and stuff, and just being actually like a person in that world instead of just like.
Well,
I don't know what the
Zuckerberg
term
and
for
it.
taking away people's legs are. I mean, if VRChat is specifically really just hammered home what the VR users want. We want immersion, but we want immersion to the point where we can see our arms all the way up to our shoulders. We want to see our legs move. We want to interact with our environments like it's actually here. Like, I really want to eat this freaking watermelon sandwich, like, so bad, it's right here. But I'm not going to eat it because I know there's nothing here. But my brain's tricking me, saying, hey, there's a delicious watermelon sandwich here. That sounds really good. You know, it just, we want these immersive environments. I want it, like, I feel like I'm sitting at a table, and I want to feel like I'm sitting at a table versus the whole metaverse thing. These are not what that's not what people want. We want to be transported to this virtual reality. We want a different reality, and that's what the user base is finding out. We want to have avatars that represent us. We want to have immersive experiences that mimic real life, but are on a grander scale. Like, this is such a wild environment that you and I are all in right now. So Z is really, really nice having you on the episode today, and I really enjoyed your conversation. I would love to have you back. Is there anything else you want to just say, or anything you want to promote before we wrap up for today?
Well, if anything, I'll just really quick say this. World creators, share your info. Let people explore. And tell people how to do things, please. The info
There
is
you
a
go.
very, very deeply held secret. Let other people build, please.
Let us build, says the girl who will never build anything. Yay!
Wow.
That's awesome. Well, like I said, it was super awesome having you. It was Z. Sorry, blah. It was really nice having you on the episode. You want to wrap us up?
Thank you, Z, so much for coming on. This has been, what is this, episode 14? I think this is episode 14. We'll find out. I'll find out when I'm editing, when I'm suffering. I'm like editing this, but thank you all so much. Thank you so much for the support. Shout out to all of Heartwood's patrons and everybody who like supports the angel and lets us be able to do fun things like this. So, this has been episode whatever number. And we'll see you guys later.
Yeah,
Bye.
we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Boy, boy.